Kia ora, talofa. My name is Nathan Bloxham, and along with my colleague David Padianga, we're going to introduce you to our Digital Assessment 1. I will talk you through the context, and then David will tell you about our assignment. David and I both currently teach Year 5 and 6 at Spraden Primary School. We are Decile 3, Years 0 to 6. Our vision is to be the best we can. Our values are success, learning, responsibility, and relationships. We currently have 270 students, and our curriculum is student-centred. We're in single self-classrooms and about to move to an ILE at the end of 2018. For our teaching practice, we're trying to collaborate approaches to see what will work for our shift to our new ILEs. The device situation in our school, we currently have 19 Chromebooks for 112 students. We're not a BYOD school. However, hopefully ICT will be expanded in our new school. Thank you.
Hi, my name is David Padianga, and this is our assignment. The experience we reflected on. The experience we reflected on was the experience of teaching maths to Year 5 children in 2017. Our initial concerns were that the children seemed to exhibit a fixed mindset. They did not seem to be making sufficient progress. They exhibited anxiety towards learning new math skills and concepts, and there was a lack of parent input into student maths learning at home during homework activities. But is there any support or justification for these concerns? Take a moment to look at the analysis of the student data collected at the end of 2017, especially the Year 5 line indicated by the red arrow. 32% of our 2017 Year 5 children are below or well below for the national standards of maths. 68% of our 2017 Year 5 children are at or above the national standards of maths. When comparing the 2017 Year 5 cohort to the New Zealand national norms, this shows that the children who are at or above are still 7% below the national norm. But what about the viewpoints of our students? What do they have to say about the experience of learning maths at school? Feel free to pause the video at this point to view each graph more closely. Our conclusions will be shared later in the presentation. Given the assessment data, student voice and self-reflections, which areas of our practice need improvement? Number 1, student sharing of maths thinking that leads to feedback and new learning. Our survey indicated that our students did not feel that they were able to share their maths thinking often enough. This implies that some of our students may be missing out on vital opportunities to receive and action feedback. Number 2, greater access to digital technology tools that involves less teacher control and more student control. Student-controlled use of digital technology tools implies that students will need to be goal-oriented, able to plan and meet deadlines. As shown in the surveys, our students have a perception that technology is a teacher tool, not a student tool. Hattie states that computer-assisted learning is optimal when the student, not the teacher, is in control of learning. There are multiple opportunities for learning, peer learning is optimized, and feedback is optimized. Number 3, build on the homeschool partnerships and boost these to enhance student learning. Hattie says there is much variance in the influence of parental involvement. There are negative effects when parents' involvement involves a surveillance approach, lower effects related to parental involvement in early interventions, and much higher effects related to parental aspirations and expectations, and when parents take a more active approach in learning. We recognize that heretofore, homeschool partnerships were based on limited response guided practice, homework tasks involving practice of a skill or knowledge. It could be argued that such homework suggests parents adopt a surveillance approach, e.g., have you done your homework yet? We want a solution where parents can be actively involved in their child's learning. Number 4, accelerate the acquisition of maths, knowledge, and skills need to help shorten the 32% tail and close the 7% gap. Hattie says that computer-based learning that emphasizes repeated learning of the material until it is mastered is effective, given that mastery learning is one of the more effective teaching approaches in a study. We would like to find a digital tool that enables students to work toward mastery of maths knowledge in class and at home. Number 5, reduce maths anxiety through the dismissal of fixed mindsets and adoption of a growth mindset. Hattie gives a very sobering view on the subject of maths anxiety, stating that for some, maths promotes expressions of anxiety that take such forms as tension and dislike, mental disorganization, fear. The consequences of anxiety include avoidance of courses and an inability to achieve in the subject. We need a solution that will help educate our students about growth mindset, and one that will help dispel their anxieties about maths. Stakeholders. These will be the 2018 Year 6 children in both Nathan and David's classrooms. These were previously the 2017 Year 5s described earlier. Definition of problem. Our student stakeholders experience difficulty with maths due to having a fixed mindset, maths anxiety, a lack of skills, knowledge required for success, weak classroom to home partnership for sharing of maths learning with whānau, and a lack of student control of digital technology tools. These are the identified outcomes for our stakeholders. For our student stakeholders, an adoption of a growth mindset and reduction in maths anxiety, accelerated acquisition of maths knowledge and skills, increased student control over the learning process when assisted by digital technology, improvements in home to classroom partnership where students can quickly and seamlessly share their maths learning with whānau. For our whānau stakeholders, the ability to have input into the maths classroom learning of their children by providing their children feedback about their maths thinking and celebrating the maths successes of their children. The first 21st century skill identified for improvement is self-regulation. We recognise that our students need to be able to see themselves as active participants in their learning, to have a sense of control over the learning process, to take responsibility for all aspects of their learning. The self-regulation skill offers clear directives for all stakeholders about what should be achieved, how, with whom, and when, and a focus on effective learning practices of goal setting, feedback, and revising work from feedback. The second is use of ICT. The use of ICT skill offers an impetus for student control, a focus on knowledge construction as many of our students need to quickly develop new understandings, and support for Nathan and David to achieve greater success against the TPAC and SAMA rubrics, given that the use of ICT emphasises that ICT is required for success and not just a substitute. The identified key competency to be improved is self-management. The Ministry of Education states that this competency is associated with self-management, a can-do attitude, and with students seeing themselves as capable learners. We think that the key competency of self-management will help to address the need for our students to adopt a growth mindset. Given these three choices, what are the implications for our digital and collaborative innovation? Well, if step 4 of the self-regulation rubric is the most ideal situation, then we require digital tools that are free, do not expire, can be accessed by all stakeholders, can be used collaboratively, and can support maths learning directly. Tools that enable students to set and achieve goals individually or collaboratively. Tools that will enable students to self-manage, to set deadlines, to decide how they can complete the work and with whom they can complete the work with. And tools that will enable students to view feedback from teachers, parents, and students in a form that will enable them to revise and improve their maths thinking. If step 4 of the use of ICT rubric is our ideal situation, then we require digital tools that are aligned with the New Zealand curriculum for maths, child-friendly, differentiated, exciting and motivating where the student is in control, and tools that strengthen the homeschool partnership and provide opportunity for students to share their classroom learning easily and seamlessly in a way that regular homework is unable to. If we group our problems and challenges into 3 main categories, there are 3 digital tools that can help. The first is Class Dojo, the second is eARCL, the third is Seesaw. Our collaborative tool of choice is the 5 practices to orchestrate productive maths discussions. The Class Dojo tool offers videos for stimulating discussion about growth mindset and a digital classroom point system that offers colourful, exciting rewards for students who show progress in adopting a growth mindset. eARCL tool offers individual student pathways that emphasise mastery learning, rich tasks that can be solved in partnership with other students, free anytime access at school and home. The Seesaw tool offers quick, seamless sharing of classroom learning at home via a student blog, free anytime access for all stakeholders through a sign-up invitation, opportunity to collaborate by sharing maths learning that has been achieved between students via video, image, or text, student controllers requirement, feedback from all stakeholders is recorded in the shared work. The collaborative maths tool, the 5 practices for orchestrating productive maths discussions, is a tool that we're learning to use as part of our school PLD focus. We recognise that this will be a powerful form of collaboration when combined with a digital tool. The 5 practices easily aligns with the 21st century skill of collaboration. According to ITL, the ideal form of collaboration is when students do have shared responsibility, they do make substantive decisions together about the content, process, or product of their work, and their work is interdependent. The 5 practices is a maths program that begins with a rich task which is unpacked by students in partnership using the talk moves. There is a poster to the right that explains all the talk moves. Students have a responsibility to come up with their own solution, but to then demonstrate this to a partner. Both partners are expected to compare and discuss their solutions using the math talk moves. Once both partners have agreed upon what they perceive to be the best solution, they are required to present back to their group. Once this is complete, math solutions across the class are compared. Feedback is given by teacher and students. Afterwards, students can return to their partnerships and respond to the feedback and make revisions to their solution. Combined with eARCL and Seesaw, the 5 practices and math talk moves provide our stakeholders with a collaborative framework that will offer an opportunity for student stakeholders to be listened to as they share their learning. Discussion prompts that lead to feedback and feed forward. Discussion prompts that encourage self-evaluation and reflection. A style of learning that encourages shared responsibility, decision-making, and interdependence. We would like to run a survey to gather student and parent voice about mathematics. We will hold an open night evening to discuss the growth mindset and the 5 practices of maths learning to offer parents strategies to become active in assisting their child at home through positive learning discussions. We will inform parents of the use of the digital tools Seesaw and eARCL. And in class, we will have stimulating class dojo growth mindset and self-management discussions and train students to use Seesaw and eARCL's digital tools and combine this with the 5 practices math talk moves. The next part of this presentation will reveal our plans for eARCL and Seesaw. The plans take the form of a set of student learning outcomes and associated success criteria. Feel free to pause the presentation to read each plan in depth. At this juncture, Nathan and I accept that this red box probably describes best our progress made on the TPAC and SAMR framework. We hope that after our innovation, these red boxes will better represent our progress. It is our goal that through this digital collaborative innovation, student stakeholders will be encouraged to form a growth mindset to support their progression in numeracy, to master maths knowledge and skill, to celebrate and share learning of whānau in order to receive and act upon feedback with a view of forming new understandings about maths. Our focus on the 21st century skills of self-regulation and use of ICT and targeting managing self as a key competency will underpin this project, provide direction, purpose and criteria throughout this process. Seesaw and the 5 practices maths collaborative tools will be used to share student stakeholder mathematical learning and thinking with their whānau and other students in order to give, seek and act on feedback. eARCL and the Maths Talk moves will be the tools used for mastering maths knowledge and skills individually or in partnership with others. Class Dojo is a tool that will be used to stimulate class discussions to help form growth mindsets and dispel maths anxiety. Throughout the process, Nathan and David will be evaluating their pedagogical progress against the SAMR and TPAC models.